It should be common knowledge by this point that Twitter sucks and always will suck. But some people still seem to disagree with this. Twitter is a place that is full of jackasses everywhere. Let me tell you the story of the instance that happened that solidified my hatred for Twitter forever. So I found this man who is in the Dragon Ball community. He was a Dragon Ball Super fanboy. The first time I started talking to him, I caught him lacking and calling GT shit and saying that it was really horrible and not worth anyone's time and all these horrible things, right, about GT. So we had an argument about why GT was better than Dragon Ball Super, and his main argument was that Dragon Ball Super had better concepts than GT, even if Dragon Ball Super poorly executed a lot of its concepts, which I just find ridiculous because there were a lot of concepts in Dragon Ball Super that sucked ass. So, he was talking complete shit. It came to a point where I realized, these dunderheads, no matter what you tell them, they just will never learn. So I decided to attempt to respectfully end the argument. But of course he was disrespectful about it and unconcerned about the whole thing, as you would expect from a Dragon Ball Super fanboy. But that instance is only the tip of the iceberg. What really got me was this that I'm about to explain. So he was writing this original fan fiction story that he had of his own, right? And I took an interest in reading it and checking it out. But when I started to read it, it felt like it was dragging on and on and on. And it was starting to feel really boring. I kept wanting to do other things, but still continue to read more of it at the same time. Then I got the idea, what if he had made an audio version of what he had written down, so that people could listen to the story and go about doing other stuff at the same time. I also felt like it didn't look very presentable. It had a black background with white text and there were no images, and I felt like, images popping up from time to time or illustrations popping up from time to time could really enhance the experience when you're reading. I noticed that with a lot of books, and I always liked that. And you find that with all sorts of different types of books, storybooks, and even textbooks, and books teaching you about different animals and various topics and things. All sorts of books have it, and it enhances the experience. At least for me it does. And as I stated, audio can enhance the experience as well. So after reading the prologue and half of the first chapter, I decided I would give him a few pointers and some advice so he could better his work. I recommended to him that he could make an audio version of what he had written down, because it could be convenient for a lot of people who would be interested in his work. Then, mere minutes after posting that and telling him what I thought, his friend came in and started insulting me and criticizing me on how I shouldn't be judging him like that and telling him all those things. And he was very insultive and rude about it. So rude to the point where I ended up blocking him. And then I got so angry about the whole thing that I ended up blocking the main guy, who we will call Biles Unleashy. So I blocked him and his friend for that horrible behavior. That got me so frustrated. But then, a little while after, I ended up unblocking Biles Unleashy because I ended up regretting it. I ended up feeling like, maybe I went too far. Maybe I should have just blocked his friend and kept it like that. So I unblocked Biles Unleashy, and lo and behold, I saw him making a post about me saying that I blocked him randomly, out of nowhere, shitting on me in front of everybody. So I came in and I tried to explain to him why I ended up blocking him. I told him that I was trying to give him some constructive criticism on his work and give him some advice to help him better his work. But then his friend came in out of nowhere and was being incredibly rude and disrespectful to me. And that it got me so angry that I ended up blocking him and his friend. Then Biles Unleashy sent his entire community of supporters to start harassing me, telling me that I'm illiterate because I wanted him to have an audio version of what he wrote down, and telling me that I'm illiterate because I wanted him to add images with the stuff that he wrote down. And I just found that incredibly ridiculous. And all of them kept coming one by one after the other, telling me that I was illiterate and asking me if I was real, over and over and over and over and over again. Eventually, I tried making a tweet apologizing to them to try to de-escalate the situation and really, try to come to a middle ground and resolve things. But then, lo and behold, they made fun of me for that too. And the thing about it is, this isn't even the first time I've been made fun of and disrespected for trying to apologize and de-escalate situations. This has happened in real life and online, and now it happened again. This is why I don't apologize that often. It's because of things like that. How could you make fun of someone or disrespect someone who's trying to apologize to you and make up for what they did? I even tried making audio versions of what he wrote down myself, but they made fun of me for that too, and disrespected me for that too. It was at this point I realized they didn't want to come to any actual middle ground, any actual resolution to this whole situation. They were just looking to stir up chaos the entire time. Eventually, I found a way to change my Twitter settings to not show any notifications from anyone who wasn't following me. And that helped a lot. But the whole situation still left a horrible taste in my mouth and a pit in my stomach. I could not get over what happened there. I was so angry about it, and I couldn't get over it so much that I ended up fighting fire with fire. Since they were all harassing me, I thought maybe I should go harass Biles Unleashy and give him a taste of his own medicine. So I harassed him and insulted him and made tweets and posts that shat on him, and I made fun of him over and over and over and over and over again. as much as I could until he would finally come and be willing to come to some respectable solution to all of this. After a bunch of posts of me shitting on Biles Unleashy, he finally came and decided to try to put a stop to all of this. He tried to make himself look good and lie by saying that he wasn't trying to make anyone upset or harass anybody or do anything like that, and that I just came in and started harassing him and doing all these things. But that couldn't be any further from the truth, and that was a big lie that he told. But now that I finally had his attention, I made it clear to him, perfectly clear to him, that I wanted to come to some kind of resolution to all this, because in general, I just don't like unsolved situations that I got into lingering on like that. I like to come to resolutions and reasonable solutions with all of these things, so that I don't have to worry about it again later on. And he said that we could resolve the situation if I agree to just stop talking about it. So I agreed to that because that was all I wanted from the start. So we agreed to that, and the situation was kind of solved, but not fully. So even though we did come to a resolution, I still deep down just couldn't get over that whole situation in general. It left a bad taste in my mouth with Twitter. And that's one of the main reasons I don't use Twitter that much, because there's so many people on Twitter like him who, the slightest criticism you give them, they will flip out at you and make a big deal out of it. And I just hate that. And one of the worst things about this whole situation was that a lot of those people who were coming and harassing me and insulting me and making fun of me, I was on good terms with them before on Twitter. Until that happened. That changed my whole perspective about a lot of people on Twitter. That was really fucked up for me. So later on, I asked an online friend of mine who likes Twitter why he likes Twitter, and he explained to me that it was because of the friends he made on Twitter. And I guess I could kind of understand that. From time to time, you might find some people on Twitter who are okay. But still though, I'll never get over what happened there.